I think geez, you go back a long way here. Um, you go back to 1972 if you want, but let's not. I think it's hard to stick a pin in where this started, but certainly among some of the Scottish players and maybe some of the Scottish management, they feel that Ireland, maybe the supporters, look down on Scotland. And there's always a narrative. I don't know if it's happened this time, but there's nearly always a narrative before Scotland-Ireland games, is that Scotland are asked, can you beat Ireland? And of course, the Scots say, yeah, we believe in ourselves. What else are they going to say? That's interpreted in Ireland as Scotland are talking themselves up again, right?
It has happened this week. It has.
Right. So and then what invariably happens then is Ireland go out and beat Scotland, and then people in Ireland go, oh, well, there you go. They talked themselves up and they fell on their face again. And everyone in Scotland's going, hang on a second, we didn't do anything. All we said is, yes, we believe in ourselves. Like, are they not allowed to say that? So I think that's part of it. I think there's a bit of animosity in Ireland towards Scotland about the World Cup bid, and that's the fact that Scotland didn't vote for Ireland. Numerous incidents over the years between Munster and Glasgow. And it's there, like, it's definitely there off the record. If you talk to a couple of players, maybe Glasgow players, they will say there's an edge there. Peter O'Mahony, they have a grudging admiration for Peter O'Mahony. They don't particularly like him, but they admire him. You know what I mean? That kind of prepared to do anything. Maybe he took Stuart Hogg out of the Six Nations one year. That kind of ruthless stop at nothing that O'Mahony has, and I think it comes from that Scotland wish they had a few more Peter O'Mahanys, like John Jeffrey back in the heyday of Scottish rugby. He was like Peter O'Mahony. He'd do anything to win a game, and I think Scotland are lacking that kind of cynical brutality, that take it to the wire and then career over the line and do anything that you can to win. Scotland have been a bit nice over the years.
And I'd say that's how Ireland perceive them within their squad. We can out-muscle, out-mental these guys. We've got that edge and we've shown it in top-level tests. I think it's fascinating the point you make about the perception of what Scotland say before these games, because it is patently unfair many times. The players are asked directly and they have to give an honest question. And if you don't back yourself in that environment or in your own head, you're never going to actually take that step and beat the Irish team. But that will make it all the sweeter whenever Ireland do lose to Scotland for the Scottish fans. I think Scottish fans and players probably would love to beat no one else more in a World Cup, especially given Ireland's World Cup history and history of failures. I think it will be the sweetest of successes for Scotland.
Totally. And there was, before the Ireland South Africa match, we do a podcast, daily podcast on the BBC Scotland, and so we asked Blair Kinghorn, what do you want from the Ireland South Africa match? And he kind of waffled a bit. Very amiable guy, funny guy, Kinghorn, So I said, as the one Irishman in this Scottish press pack, I said, surely you want South Africa to brutalize my brave boys in green. Take out Sexton, take out Porter, take out Bundy Aki, take out Furlong. And he smiled and he said, no comment. So, and there was that kind of underlying thing that we're not going to say we want South Africa to beat the hell out of Ireland, but we want South Africa to beat the hell out of Ireland. So that's just looking after themselves, isn't it? That's totally understandable. But yeah, no, there is that frisson there, and Peter Wright, the former Scottish prop, we have great crack on the radio, the two of us, because and he's a pantomime baddie, big righty. But every time it's a Scottish team playing an Irish team, he hams it up big style, about how cynical the Irish are, and but again, underpinning that is respect. It's respect, and kind of, I wish our rugby landscape was the same as Ireland's.
And Gav, it's class to have that, I think, just to finish on that one, especially because it's become so one-sided in terms of the results now over the last eight years or whatever it is, 6 years. Sometimes when that happens, the bite kind of saps away from it on one side, but I think the Irish squad would absolutely love to sew it into the Scots and send them home, and that is very much reciprocated, which makes it all the more thrilling.
It does. And I think the perception of Scotland talking themselves up, Tom, probably stems from like an isolated soundbed or sound bite where Stuart Hogg was talking about winning the last World Cup. I honestly think that was the origin of that impression of Scotland, and that it's not necessarily a fair one. And Hogg was probably just in a good mood that day. He was a world-class player at that time, and he probably said, why not? I'm going to G the lads up. And it kind of lent itself towards people thinking Scotland were this sort of arrogant team or getting above their station, where in reality it was probably a 20-second answer to a question again. Right?
Yeah. Like I think one of the problem, and you could do a real deep dive into Scotland's problems, rugby problems over the years, but I think one of their problems is that they haven't been arrogant enough. They've been almost too humble and doffing the cap. And I don't know if that's what Hogg was addressing, but you're dead right. I think he did say, we think we can win the World Cup, and it probably stems from that. But that is probably reflecting him as, I need to do something. I need to reflect that we are confident in ourselves, because there's a lot of doom and gloom out there. There's like this huge and it does remind me about when I started off as well back in the 90s in Ireland, this fatalism, about Jesus, we're crap, we're hopeless, we're definitely going to lose. And even like in the last few weeks, what you're hearing, and again, it's gallows humor, right? He says, what we're going to do is we're going to beat Ireland. We're going to beat Tonga with a bonus point, Ireland with a bonus, Tonga with Romania with a bonus point, and Ireland with a bonus point, and we're still going to go out. This kind of, but when you have had no success since 1999, when they last won the Five Nations Championship, that kind of thing seeps into your psyche. The whole notion that Scotland are an arrogant rugby nation, it makes me laugh out loud, because it could not be more opposite to that.